following presentation was recorded at the CDFAM Computational Design Symposium in Barcelona, April 2026. Learn more at cdfam.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rhushik MATROJA. I'm one of the co-founder and CEO of Cognitive Design Systems. If it works. We are a company based out of Toulouse, not so far from here. A beautiful place if you have time, 4 hours drive along Mediterranean Sea. We work with large organizations in aerospace, automotive, defense, and industrial applications, such as CDFAM, Airbus, Toyota, etc. And while working in the industry for the last 15 years, I have found, and I think this is more recent challenges that we have found, that the time to market is being compressed, and it's the challenges are increasing. There are competition that is increasing from the Asian side. We have one example that in automotive industry, they are looking at, they are targeting 1.5 year of design cycle time. It used to be 3. It used to be way more before. So how to answer to that? Another one is the talent scarcity and the knowledge loss. The Gen Z generation, we all know, we try to move things forward. The average time has been reduced drastically that you spend in a design office. So how do you transfer the know-how that has been collected over the years to the new generation of engineers? Another challenge, also very much European, I would say, is the performance and sustainability mandates. In aerospace and automotive industry, we have this net zero goals for 2050. How to tackle that and where we can actually use it. And now the latest challenge is the AI urgency without clear roadmap. And this has been something that has been in discussions. Since January, I interviewed 25 large organizations, and everybody has, okay, we are investing heavily in AI, but we don't know exactly how we are going to use it. And there is no clear roadmap for engineering itself specifically. To work on it, we have a dream, and that's our vision, is to transform engineering into what I call it cognitive creation. I want to break the silos. I think many people before me mentioned about the silos. Great talks, by the way. And those silos are very much still present in large organizations, and how to challenge them is a tough question. If we are able to go above that, we can accelerate the design engineering, and we want to do it by doing orchestration through AI, because it can bring a lot more value there. So our focus is on optimizing mechanical and thermomechanical components. So we started by developing key technologies. We have our own geometry kernel based on implicit modeling. We combine it with BRAP and mesh modeling. We encapsulated, we captured it into a parametric design workflow that I will show you just after. And we have also connected it with a FEA solution, but also manufacturing analysis, cost analysis, carbon footprint analysis. And all this to analyze 4 KPIs: performance, manufacturability, sustainability, and cost. And now we are going a step further, where we are able to bring the AI orchestration to accelerate the whole workflow automatically. To do it, we developed a solution called Cognitive Design. It's a workflow like Grasshopper, inspired by, but also with capabilities of generative design, design exploration, and design automation. So this allowed engineers to go way further. We were able to reach a target of like 80% of design cycle reduction for challenges like challenges with Safran or with Thales. And today I'm gonna present you one of the case study. And through that case study, I have two questions at the end of my presentation that I would love to chat with you at the end of my at the break. So the big question is how AI is changing the mechanical engineering. And let's go through a very engineering problem that we had to tackle last year with a company called Thales Alenia Space, satellite manufacturer, French-Italian collaboration. They had to develop 80 different variants of those small, tiny tripods, but each one of them were different. It's for the whole constellation. Each one of them, if you try to design it manually, do the simulation, do business analysis, it takes 30 to 40 hours on an average. What if we can automate this? So they came to us with this challenge that can we create a single workflow where I can just change the input and rerun everything once again. So that's what we did with our solution. So our software looks like this, where you can connect different components between them and create a workflow. So yeah, I completely agree with the person from Raven mentioning. I love the interface of node-based environment. So we did topology optimization first. We had some interesting results, but they were not enough to be used as it is. So what we did here is that, okay, we asked, we connected it to a component called topology optimization post-process, which does the cleaning job automatically. So this kind of automation is very easy to do in this kind of environment. And we have automated all those time-consuming processes on our side. After that, we performed FE analysis, where we saw that, okay, there was a spike in stress at a very, very small zone. So we connected it to what we call simulation-driven design. Simulation-driven design is basically I take the simulation results and I optimize the design here. We do variable offset. So based on the stress analysis, that the modification, the fine-tuning could be done automatically without having to do the CAD operations. And then we brought it to manufacturing-driven design. That's something that we really care about, is how to make the part manufacturable. And when everything is done, once again, we validate the results. Perfect. Everything is great. The results looks much better than before. We have a part which is lightweighted by almost 92%, something like that. And then we did manufacturing cost and carbon footprint analysis for a specific manufacturing process material combination that we have. And that we launched it to our reporting tool, which is the design exploration. So here I can vary the parameters previously on all my workflow, and I can create different variants. I can automate it also in a way, so I can create lots of different variants and do the comparative analysis on all different KPIs that I mentioned earlier. Performance, manufacturability, cost, and carbon footprint. When you are satisfied with one of the process, then you can bring it back into the workflow, modify the initial design, and rerun the whole workflow, and it will never break. That's the promise that we are giving here. So what we did here is that we created a workflow which is a very typical engineering workflow for lightweighting applications that we have. We did design exploration. We identify which workflow works the best, so we can standardize the design process itself. Once we have standardized the design process, we extracted that workflow and said, okay, now do the same thing for other parts. So the whole design process became much more fluid. and accelerated. So this was done in September 2025. But then everything changed with AI. So we asked the same question to AI. Okay, what can be done if I connect all my technology through an MCP server, and instead of bringing a chatbot into my environment, which is not a bad idea, but we took the other way around, I bring my technology to more widely commercially available solutions, which are evolving at a speed, incredible speed. So now we can just ask, here in this case, we asked to Claude. I'm sure many of you guys are using. Perform optimization on the structural bracket, which is in this folder. Read the specifications, read the 3D models, and go for it. AI did the project orchestration, it did the workflow management, it analyzed the KPIs, and it created the next step also for it. And it gave some other ideas that were not always, we didn't think about it. So it was interesting. But the execution was done on premises. So we did it on our PC. So all the data that was created, simulation data, everything remained on a local environment. And this is something which is important for our customer. They don't yet like that much to put everything on AWS. Nothing against them, but yeah, that's the story of our current customer. And it generated the similar kind of design and the report very easily. Let's go through it in a couple of seconds. So this is the specification I gave, very, very detailed, like you see. And Claude started running on it. It orchestrated various different steps. There were 13 different steps. It created a design. Okay, that's not great. Can you optimize it furthermore for manufacturability? Do post-process on the topology. It did the post-process also. Okay, now it looks much better. Do the FEA analysis. Go for it. Yeah. So it ran the FE analysis. It passed the criteria and created a beautiful report. Things that took Thales 100 hours. With cognitive design, we were able to reduce it already to 600 hours to 100 hours. The whole project. And now with Claude, it was in hours or minutes. This whole change in the dynamics were very important, and we started asking questions to our users, like what's the new role of a design engineer and where we are heading to, and what's the right way to do it. Sorry, there you go. First, the most important thing for them that came out is that we are working in a very constrained environment where certification is necessary. We need deterministic workflows. We need workflows that one set of input has to be one set of output. So I can create traceability. I can have certification ready workflows. If something happens, we should be able to know why it happened and how can we improve. And for that, creating an infrastructure where the deterministic workflows like FEA, design optimization, etc., could be orchestrated by AI is important. But also, it's also important to capture the patterns that we can have in our engineering work. So we do, if the similar workflow has been presented again, they do the similar job and not comes up with a completely different workflow. So this is the technology that is being developed. But this is bringing to a big question. The big paradigm shift is happening. Role of a design engineer is not going to disappear, but it's gonna transform. And this is I would like to know your opinion on it. How do you think it is gonna transform? I believe that the modeling and drawing will become design intent definition, like John before me mentioned about it, like, okay, give your design intent and the AI will do the work. Running iterations becomes orchestrating AI pipelines. Completely agree on that. And tracking the results will become certifying AI outputs. So engineers who used to the whole generation of engineers who grew up with all this CAD systems, they know where to find the right commands in which menu, and they are expert in knowing a CAD software. But what we need is not an expert in a CAD software. What we need an expert in mechanical engineering, and the big difference will be happening in the coming years, where we have the operators and the engineers will be very much differentiated thanks to AI. And kind of in a way, we are going back to how engineering used to work, where engineer had their sense of understanding if the result is provided to me, is it the right result, stress is correct, displacement is correct or not, etc. So our goal is to bring the determinism in the real world engineering. And we started working with various different organizations, like in France and in Japan, mainly at the moment, and also in Italy. We are bringing concurrent engineering to the reality, where various different roles could work together, collaborate, and accelerate the design process by using the deterministic approach, keeping the human in the loop, so the pipelines that has been generated are validated and remains in full control by the human, and it brings AI to the regulated industry. While coming here, I was asking myself a few questions. That AI is bringing fluidity of interface between the human and the technology. The barrier that we had, and I call it barrier, but yeah, the interface that we have looks like a software with a software is not allowing us always to communicate it better, the design intent to the technology. Chatbot is one of the way of doing this interface. Is it the right one, wrong one? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced, but happy to discuss about it. But neither is the monolithic interface that we can have in a CAD environment. You can't expect to design a washing machine and an aircraft engine using same CAD interface. It doesn't make any sense. Now we have possibility to create an interface which is suitable for a specific requirements, and we should be able to customize it for a specific industry, specific customer. That would be very, very important. And I would love to discuss also on the curated AI that we are bringing into CAD. Like, what's the right way to do? Bringing AI into a software, or bringing the technology to an AI interface which is much more flexible? I think there is no right or wrong answers into it, but happy to discuss. Thank you for listening to me. See you around.
To learn more about the CDFAM Computational Design Symposium, access the archive of previous presentations, interviews with speakers, and information about future events around the world, visit cdfam.com.